In this video, CodingBat.com, section List-1, and today's question is called max end 3. So, given an array of ints, length 3, figure out which is larger, the first or last element in the array, and then set all other elements to be that value. Return the changed array. So we can see here in the examples that we're going to be returning an array with the length of 3, where every value in the list has the same value. So we're setting all the other elements to be that value, and we're returning that changed array. So the trick about this question is basically figuring out which value is larger, the first or the last element, and then making sure that you can return the changed array. So I'm going to answer this question twice actually, the easy way and the hard way. So first, I'm going to give you the easy way. What we're going to be using for the easy way is the max built-in function. And so let me show you what that looks like. So let's say we have nums equals 211, 3. And we want to know which is bigger, 2 or 3. Well, all you have to do is use the max built-in function, right? And then pass 2 arguments to that, which is going to be the first and the last values. So here, we'll pass nums0 and nums-1, and that's going to return the larger of the two numbers, which we know to be 3. So another way I could rewrite this instead of -2 or -1 is to actually just write 2, because we know that the last value here is at index 2, and we can see that that returns the same thing as well. So again, we're using the max built-in function, and let's see what that would look like over here in our answer. So let's start building out our answer, and we'll do largest equals max, and then we'll do num0 and nums-1. So here we have our largest variable, right? So that way we're going to know what the largest value is. And then we need to return a list with 3 integers. We need that value 3 times. So how are we going to do that? Well, we could do largest, 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 right? So we get that largest value, and then we're going to return that 3 times in this list in a very manual way, and we can click go, and we can see that this is all correct, this is all green. So this is actually our first answer, our first solution. Awesome. So now that we have our first solution to max end 3, what can we do to make this a little bit more efficient? I don't like the fact that we're writing out largest 3 times, so how can we make that better? Well, we can actually do this. Add times 3 here, and we can click go, and we can see that that still works, and all is correct. And so you might be wondering, okay, how does that work, this times 3, in terms of the syntax? And so let's just say largest equals 3, right? And then so largest inside a list would look like this. It would look like 3. And then we could do times 3, and we can see that we now have 3, 3, 3. So basically, all you need to do is times 3 outside of a list, and that'll actually multiply the values within a list. So of course, we can switch this to any value we want, and we just need to add that multiplication outside the list. And definitely make sure it's outside the list, because if you did this times 3 within the list, that's going to return something else. That's going to return 303. So that's how we've made our solution a little bit more manageable, a little bit more workable. But like I said before, oh, and this might be a perfect answer actually. Of course, you can reduce this to 1 line. So I think we can just throw this all in here, and we can return it just like this. Boom. So I think this is pretty much as efficient of a solution as you're going to get. And of course, we're using the max built-in function to determine which is larger, the first or last element in the array. So this is pretty much your most efficient answer. You're going to be good to go with this. But let's also challenge ourselves and say, how would we do this without the max built-in function? How would we figure out what the largest number is without using this function? And so I'm thinking what you would do is you would do nums0 if nums0 is greater than nums -1, else nums -1. Sweet. So now we've actually recreated this largest variable, and we've done it without the max built-in function. We've actually done it with an if-else statement. And this is actually pretty easy because we're only comparing one value to another variable, or to another value. We're only comparing two values, right? The first and the last. So basically it's like return the first if it's bigger than the last, or return last, right? So once again, return the first value if the first value is bigger than the second value, else return the second value. Technically, you could add an equals in there if you really want to and make it greater than or equals to, but it doesn't really matter. So we now have our new largest value, and we can again add largest back in here, and we can click go, and we can see that, sweet, this works as well. So we now have our new solution, and we've done it without the max built-in function. And of course, again, this could be put on one line as well. I think we could just put it in here, and we can remove our variable, and we can return this again, and sweet. So this is working as expected. We've reduced everything down to just one line, to one return statement, and this is our second answer, our second solution for max and 3. So we've looked at two ways of doing it, both with and without the max built-in function, and I hope you've enjoyed this answer. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.